Path of Night is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the classic world of darkness. We're all friends, we're here to have fun, but our story can include graphic violence, drug use, sexual content, and other mature themes. We talked at our table about safety, comfort, and consent, both as players and storytellers. We know what to expect. We're all excited to be here, and we want you to feel the same. So listener discretion is advised. Now, let's walk the Path of Night. Last time on Path of Night, Wynn and Miles discuss Raven's intention to end the demon threat. Wynn promises to help Romeo talk to Britta about their shared pasts. Miles calls his sire, Archon Peterson, and is informed of the incoming arrival of displaced princes to New Haven. The two venture discuss the instability of the domain and that of Upton Rollins. Miles receives instructions to strengthen and unite the city, even if it means replacing Prince Rollins. Meanwhile, Johnny, Neil, and Britta spot the killing spree wreaking havoc at a Duncan. Despite the Bara's readiness to take on his Sabat sire, the three end up combining their skills to make a quick getaway.
So, I'm going to read you in on the situation. The Sabat attacks in the south have been progressing, and currently my sire and some others are putting together a team or something and are moving displaced princes to New Haven in the near future.
Great.
Can we tell them no?
Displaced princes?
A dozen.
A dozen?
A dozen.
The Sabbat are running rampant on the East Coast. There's got to be a bunch of displaced princes.
Wait, are they still princes if they come here?
No.
Much like Elsa? No.
Not unless they want to run a praxis.
Right.
Well, they can't do that.
That's the issue.
Can't is a strong word.
No, they shouldn't.
Yep.
But will they? Probably.
So my sire has doubly charged me to make sure that the domain is in strong, stable Ventru hands.
Johnny lowers his head. Ventru hands.
So we're good.
Yes.
Strong, stable, and he his eyes flick over to Britta, and then he just looks at Miles.
In any
Ventru hands.
way possible. So
Gotcha.
I have two thoughts on this. First thing we need to do is get the Sabbat under control.
Yes. Yeah. That's pretty clear. Although, like I said, we've got a way at least to track the big boy.
What about any of the underlings?
They move in packs.
Right. If there's any way, if we can get them separated from, then we might be able to pick off some of the smaller ones.
That's the hope.
Right.
We could pull them to us, but if I were them, I would try to bring protection.
Yeah, we need to know their names. And
anything we can do to divide and conquer, it would be ideal, because currently we can pull in some reinforcements, but essentially we're one of the strongest things unless we can call other people.
When we were at that house with the mortals, you got some animals to keep an eye on it, right?
Yeah.
Could you... I don't know... I'm sorry, I don't know how many animals you can get to look out for things, but would we be able to kind of get eyes on the city that way?
It's worth a shot.
there's also, there's a lot of mortal crime in this city, and anytime a new dangerous gang moves in, everybody knows about it. I can reach out, look for some dangerous hotspots, places people don't go anymore, and now that we've got a photo of her, with a little bit of help.
You have a photo of her?
He looks at Johnny again. A photo of him. Okay. She didn't appear in the photo. She just doesn't like...
There's actually someone else we should go after.
Who's that?
Sabbat packs have an interesting dynamic. One of their members is called an abbot.
Okay.
The abbot is the Canaanite responsible for making sure they have a place to sleep and that they have ways to feed and stay active. The rest of the pack prowls and hunts and goes about conducting all of the horrible things that they call business. But the abbot makes sure that they're all taken care of.
Who's the abbot of the killing spree?
Carmen has 3 children on the pack. The youngest of them is named Cynthia. She's the one that looks out for them. I remember her face clearly.
Okay, so...
She is not a hardened Sabbat killing machine. She can still blend in with society. She can go places and make deals to secure storage facilities or garages, places where they can haven.
Has she partaken in that Valdery thing?
Of course.
All right.
But she doesn't have the monstrous nature that you would expect out of a Sabbat. If we need to strike at them, it will not be easy to find her, and undoubtedly she is being guarded by some kind of horrible creation the Zemitzi have made.
Like
But
the Weeping Bear?
What's that?
Like the Weeping Bear.
Something like that. But she would be the first point to strike at. If we can take Cynthia out, suddenly they lose the one member that actually cares for their needs.
They can't go to ground anymore.
They will have a much more difficult time of displacing to a new haven. And they'll have a much more difficult time of staying low when they want to hide after having made a masquerade breach.
Great. Hitting their supplies seems like a good idea.
And you said you remember her face?
Vividly.
So, that same idea applies then. Photo or no photo, if we're okay with it.
Yeah, I could try it.
Okay. So I guess,
Was there anything else that your sire told you on the phone call?
Yeah. He no longer needs veto. I propose, and I know we're all going to hate it. But
Giving him to Reese.
Giving him to Reese.
really?
If anyone can make something out of the horrible things the Xantosa can do, I feel like the Tremere would probably be the best suited to.
That's what I'm concerned with.
Same here, but I need him. We need him currently, and this city needs him to stop coming after us.
So, we trade Vito Xantosa to Reese as a make-good?
Peace offering.
Maybe,
Bribe.
hopefully better.
Do you want to try and get together the Gemini League and talk to them about plans of making sure this city stays in Ventru hands?
I'm going to have a conversation with Rollins at least. I think Elsa is on board with that to one degree or another. She does not want a position.
Maybe we can buy Reese's help.
That's my hope, and make a stronger city. We need them to stop coming after us and seeing us as a threat, and I hate it. I want to make that clear.
No, I trust you, Miles.
There's an awful lot of bullshit going on, and anything we can do to stop the avalanche sounds...
It's a smart play.
Yeah.
Well, then I think what we have to do is you have to start making some phone calls and scheduling some meetings for us to attend.
Speaking of bullshit, we want the best chance against them here in whatever endeavor we're doing. Wynn, I'm sorry, but Miles, do you think you could get me another one?
I could probably get you one, Neil.
I didn't want to ask but
I can get you one.
thanks, Wynn.
We can make things, yet again, even for this stuff, no moving out on their own.
No.
They're getting closer, and I don't know if it's on purpose or by accident.
And we don't know what this new element that has Jane is capable of doing on this chessboard.
Right, currently they seem to be less aggressive.
Should we warn them, mortals, about the killing spree or anything?
Personally, I'd love to talk to them and convince them that we're not the worst thing in the night.
Well, hopefully they'll get back to us tomorrow. That's what we said, right? We're going to give them some time.
Yes.
I can check in with the eyes that I have on them.
All right, please
Okay.
do.
By the way, Britta, Romeo's here.
You saw him?
Yeah, he was actually teaching Joey how to play piano.
So he's doing okay.
He wasn't a child when he died, so I think he's got a better grip on himself and
glad to
the
hear
role
that.
he's in now. But he does want to talk to you, and I told him I would help him.
I'd want to talk to him too. Thank you.
Not a problem. Is the piano music still going?
It is not.
He may not be here anymore.
Well, whenever we can fit that in.
At some point, I don't want to do it alone anyways, but I've been avoiding it for a couple of days, but I really do need to go back to my haven. Especially if we're going to go do this thing. I need everything I can get.
I'll take you there.
I can go too if you want.
Might as well make it two.
Okay.
Neil, you should be prepared. They took a lot.
That's why I've been avoiding going home.
Do you want all of us there?
I think we need to stick to the buddy system and try and get as much done as we possibly can.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit, Johnny, I'm sorry. You didn't get your cigarettes.
I hate to say this, but I think I think you should probably stay here with Britta. Keep her occupied and maybe see if you can channel Romeo. That way the two of you can focus on something while Miles makes some phone calls without anybody getting into his hair. He gives you a hard look about that.
Wynn kind of just gives a nod.
Two of us will go into your haven, see what we can collect, maybe see about even getting some of that ritual started.
Yeah. The ritual will be more effective if I can approach the veil before we do it, but let's do it.
We got a few days, at least.
I'm good at finding whatever you need.
Sounds like a solid plan.
I'm probably going to try to find and pull extra security to my haven. We might be able to start at least doing rotating, but we should not be havening alone if we can help it.
Yeah, I think
we can split up to a certain degree, but still buddy systems.
Always.
We also may want to find a joint haven.
A new place?
A new place that maybe other people don't know about.
It's not a bad idea. I can look around.
I think if we can keep the paper trail to a minimum, that would be good.
That's why I was saying I could look around. How gross does it need to not be?
Pretty not gross.
You've worked with me.
That's going to eliminate some options, but I'll look into it.
After the coterie meets, each retreat and rest for the day. After night falls, Miles, you find yourself, this time, again awakening and being down the blood you would normally be. Now, as I understand it, you have some phone calls to make.
Yes, I prepare myself and get dressed for my phone call, then reach out to Roland's.
Okay. The basic call out's Roland's, and it rings and rings and rings for much longer than it usually might. But then someone picks up on the end of their end. Hello? What?
Hello?
Is right? Yes. Hello?
Your Grace?
Is that you, Miles?
It is me, Miles.
How are you this evening?
Doing well. I'm checking in on you and seeing what's going on.
I am well, watchful, vigilant, and ready.
I see. Have things calmed down any since the last night in Elysium for you?
The storm has even begun to strike.
Have you dismissed all your ghouls?
Yes, I can afford no spies.
How are you getting around and getting...
I'm not. I'm simply waiting here.
Right.
They would expect you to travel, and that's when they would strike.
So you plan on just being in your haven until the next Elysium? Next night of court?
Well, until the wolves are dealt with, Miles. I will not leave myself vulnerable. You and I know how much this domain cannot function without a strong prince, and should I not be prepared, should I fall, this domain will undoubtedly crumble.
Of course, the domain needs a strong prince, and it needs somebody to bring all these pieces together.
Yes, it is otherwise a village of idiots.
Do you really feel that the best cause is to isolate yourself, then?
Yes, obviously, Miles. What is your question? Why are you calling?
I am mainly just calling to keep you updated on some of the things that I've been handling. And
good. The Anarch is dead?
We are doing our research into that and making...
Miles, what is that research? It's a brewer. They practically grow in trees. Cut that one down, I'm sure she's fighting for oppression or whatever. And then let the next take her place. Won't be our problem.
Very good. I've got time to handle this on my own. I'm trying to do it in a clean, venture way.
Ah, I like that, yes.
Otherwise, we are also on the hunt for the Sabbat, as you know.
I do. They fear you, no doubt.
If they don't, they will soon enough. But I'm just hoping that maybe you'll be attending to matters in a regular and normal fashion again. I know that while the domain is under attack, it's good to be among the other kindred.
Miles, you're very young. But you must understand that I am an elder. A month, a year, a decade. These are not long periods of time to the immortal. I can wait it out, and in a century, rise and continue business again.
Very good, Your Grace. Once we have struck a blow against the Sabbat, I'm hoping to meet with you, and then we can present it to the court.
Present what?
Our victory.
Yes, when you destroy them.
Right.
Or just eradicate the Sabbat.
Put them on their heels.
No, that's not what I said.
Well, we're not eradicating a whole cult, but the ones in the area, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Very good.
I heard they call themselves the Killing Spree.
Yes, Grace?
They sound very dangerous, Miles. I need you to be careful.
Of course.
Use that coterie of yours.
I will, Your Grace. Have a good evening.
Yes, one more thing.
Yes.
Send that Britta over. He hangs up.
Well, that's not happening. Well, you hang up first, make sure that...
Oh, no, you don't!
Fantastic. Do I know his ghouls?
You have interacted with them in the past, yes.
They're going to get hungry.
They're very old.
Yeah.
And they could experience some very serious problems if Upton just sets them aside for a month.
I guess I will reach out to them and see if I could take care of if they're...
That would be great. They're very interested.
Cool. Can I have them do stuff then?
They're willing to work for their blood.
Good, because I need some stuff in order, and I guess we're going to be getting a new coterie house, so I need this other house sold and moved out and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Because I don't want to go back to it. So
property moved, yeah, they've got you.
I guess then I'm going to then procure a gift for Elsa and prepare for that meeting, and go from there.
What is the gift you prepare?
I will call to set up an appointment with her. I assume she is rather do stuff in person and have the flowers sent for the same day that the appointment is. And then I will prepare a mixtape. Probably at my business since I'm not going back to my haven.
Okay. And you prepare a mixtape. And you said you're sending the flowers in advance?
Right.
Okay.
So they'll be there at the same day, but before I get there.
Okay. You reach out to Elsa. She does agree to a meeting. There is a Victorian house that she most frequently uses. You've been there before.
Mm-hmm.
And she will be waiting for you.
I will dress and be prepared to meet her there. I don't know if this is a couple days later or not, or probably as soon as possible is good. And drive up for my appointment then.
When you arrive, you do so in the midst of something of a salon that is taking place. There are the Toreador of the Domain are largely gathered, though it seems Britta was not invited. And when you head in, you're directed to Elsa, who is relaxing by the piano and is playing soft music. Most of those gathered are just entranced and lost in the experience, so it's difficult to make any quick small talk with them.
I will wait until she both notices me and deigns to talk to me, as I've done previously.
When you approach, she actually shifts over in her seat, giving some room on the bench that she's on so that you can sit next to her.
I will do so.
Miles.
Elsa?
It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you also. You play beautifully.
Thank you. I actually wanted to invite you over because I was curious about how you play.
Passably.
There is no such thing.
Shall I demonstrate?
Yes. There's only those who are passionate and those who should perhaps spend their time just doing something else.
Spend willpower on a performance.
One. Ouch. That hurt Miles way more than she knows she just did.
Some Toreador shit.
Oh, that is like his backstory in like a nutshell.
All
right.
she's saying is there's no such thing as good and bad. There's only being passionate and not.
Yeah. Okay. Performance and...
I'm not totally cruel. Dexterity. Your difficulty is 7. You're a little nervous.
8 successes.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Damn, dude.
She listens, and the first time you try to get her attention in the conversation, she doesn't quite hear you.
I will continue to keep playing until she has had a fill, I guess.
I admit, I did not expect you to be so expressive.
These are trying times, and I find my need to put myself out there is greater than it has ever been.
She loosens up a little, and kind of like relaxes while you play, and does not seem to give the impression that she's ready to take back over.
I will continue to keep playing at her leisure at this point.
We Toreador can tell a great deal about someone's sincerity, their determination, honor, by the way they play. So continue, and tell me why you're here.
The domain needs everyone together, and much strife will be happening in the near future. And I made my apologies to you before, but I want us to be friends. I need you to continue to be on my side as we move through and forward into this next part, into this next maelstrom.
Your side? I have a very long history of being on my side, and I tend to find it to be a comfortable position. What is your side, Miles?
Well, maybe I should explain the oncoming storm.
I concur.
As we informed you before of the Sabbat attacks along the East Coast.
Yes.
Well, there are princes without domains any longer.
What does this mean for New Haven?
We may play host in the near future.
Oh. Well, that sounds delightful.
Exceptionally, as long as New Haven has a cohesive and strong front, then it'll be nothing but hosts and guests.
How long is it that these guests intend to stay, Miles?
I don't have a time frame.
The severity of the situation starts to express itself along her sharp features. And she looks to you and says, and should an opportunity to stay present itself, you believe that these princes who are unlikely to ever return to their domains again might seize such an opportunity.
I believe they're in the habit of such things.
I see. Then what are we to do, Miles?
We are to make sure that we're unbreachable.
We're the objective, but I'm asking about action. What do we do?
We make sure that from the top to the bottom, our leadership is unshakable.
I see there are a handful of paths to getting this done, but you're approaching me and not His Grace.
I don't think His Grace will ever recover. I'm sure you're aware of his situation.
I've gathered all of the Toreador here to keep a watchful eye on them, safe under my umbrella. But I could not bring Britta here because she threatens the flock. She's compromised. Do you understand this?
Extremely.
I am enraged that any member of your clan, prince or not, would have the audacity. So if you are attempting to imply that honor and forthright politics and worth is to be restored to the domain, I am intrigued.
I do believe that these mistakes will need to be rectified.
You're right to believe such.
So it is here that I bring you this news. And I have learned some lessons from the last few times.
Her eyes shift to your nimble fingers playing on the keys. So you have. And I will help you.
Miles nods his head and he relaxes a little. It's good to know. You're one of the few that I trust. And ones that I've come to rely on.
Careful about trust. But you can count on me.
Very good.
When it seems like the conversation is finished and you're ready to kind of like get up, she kind of like stops you and you find yourself spending the rest of the salon playing for the Toreador.
It's actually kind of nice in a way.
It is. It is actually specifically very, very nice. Well, Miles is off making phone calls and heading off to some meeting. The two of you, Wynn, Britta, are alone with your opportunity. What do you plan to do?
My thought is to just wait for to see if the ghosts come back of their own volition. We can give that some time. Not a lot, but...
What do you plan to do in the meantime?
So, you talked to Nyx, right?
Yeah. She told me some words about what I am. She said I was a chatterling, that I had been a ghoul. I don't know for how long I am. That has something to do with the crescent on my palm and that being part of the Tamahe Ra.
Okay. Are you thinking Romeo can give you more? I mean, I guess, what do you want to hear from Romeo?
I mean, on one level, I feel like I want to know what those words mean and go even further in, but that came with a big warning that the more I know, the less I might be able to choose who I am. I want to talk to Romeo about it. I want to know more.
Do you want to hear from Romeo who you are or what you are?
Both.
I'm just asking because sometimes they may cut out. I don't know if he's going to be able to talk to you directly, and I want to know what I can give you.
Well, I'm okay, Wynn, if it's just me talking through you. Whatever he has to say to you about me, that's just... I mean, it's a bit scary that you'll know it before I do, but I trust you.
I appreciate that.
Who I am now, that's something I choose. But I can't stop it when I want to know what got me here. And I feel like knowing that has just made me decide more and more to be who I am now.
Okay.
Maybe if he disagrees, let me know, but him knowing that I spoke to Nyx and know those words, maybe that'll give us some more information. He said he wanted to talk to me, right?
Yeah.
So maybe he already has an idea.
Okay. We can give it some more time and see if they come back. But if you want, I can also call them here.
Does that hurt them?
Hurt, no. Manipulate, yes.
Do they not have a choice?
It's like what you can do to Vito.
I'd like to wait for a while, but if this is the moment when we have the time, do you think that they would mind?
I'm a fairly friendly medium. I know Joey wouldn't mind if they're together, then I kind of look around. Is Joey here, or is he off somewhere?
Joey's off somewhere.
Okay. Alright.
If this is the moment we have, we might want to call them.
Okay.
But I trust you. You know what you're talking about here.
I've never done it before, but I can try.
Is there something I can do to help?
I think just you being here will be incentive.
Alright.
I am going to use Sepulchre Path. I believe it's 3. So as Wynn and Britta are talking, she will kind of lead Britta with the conversation up to the piano where Romeo and Joey were playing. And she will call out, Romeo, Britta's ready to talk to you.
Go ahead and give me a roll.
3 successes.
With 3 successes, it is not a particularly long wait until you sense Romeo's arrival. And kind of like looking down in the hallway, like this unilluminated corridor, you can kind of see like the figure of Romeo kind of moving in the dark and heading towards you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Was Joey with you?
Yeah, he's okay.
Okay.
Just kind of figuring things out.
Yeah, he's still a little boy, though.
Britta, not being able to see Romeo, but hearing the greeting, sits with her back to the piano, at the piano seat, kind of trying to look towards the direction that Wynn is speaking to, before realizing, that won't work. But she does offer a smile kind of out towards that general direction.
She knows I'm here.
She knows I was calling for you.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Are you able to manifest?
It can be difficult, but I can try.
If it's a problem, I can interpret. It depends on how many people you want in this conversation.
It's probably the best choice, though.
Okay. Not a problem. Where is Romeo in the room?
He's in the hallway.
Okay.
Like right at the doorway.
Wynn will kind of look to Britta and find her eyes and then kind of gesture with her head where Romeo is, so she can kind of direct her questions toward him.
Britta looks and says, "Hi. I heard that you wanted to talk to me, and I wanted to talk to you too. I ended up talking to Primogen Nix, and I thought I got some answers, but it felt like I got more questions."
I did. I was hoping to warn you about who you are and what's going to happen if your sire finds you.
He was hoping to warn you about what will happen if your sire finds you.
Who is my sire?
I don't want to wake up anything dormant, so I have to approach this carefully, and I hope you understand.
He hopes you understand, but he doesn't want to awaken anything, so he's proceeding carefully.
What does naming who that is wake something?
He works for the sisterhood, and it's their responsibility to oversee the functionality and health and use of what you were, a chatterling. And usually they bury commands, modes, into the subconscious of the person that it is that they're keeping an eye on, so that if something goes wrong, they can still carry out what they were meant to do. So in this conversation, we have to make sure that we don't do that.
Sometimes the people, like your sire, bury commands in chatterlings so that they can be conditioned to complete certain tasks, even if they're against it.
The same way that I shot the Xantosa.
He doesn't seem to know exactly what she's talking about.
Can you explain that for him? He doesn't know about that.
We were trying to take a Tzimisce Revenant in alive, and I shot him in the back of the head right after everything happened.
That sounds about right.
That sounds about right.
You're here to help with the Shadow Crusade.
You're here to help with the Shadow Crusade.
He hesitates when he says that. Once he's certain that Britta hasn't stared off into space and started killing anyone, he continues on. So there's a lot of stories about the origins of the various clans.
There are a lot of stories about the origins of the clans.
The Tzimisce has a lot that's buried. And there was once a group that studied death and the mysteries of the cosmos.
The Tzimisce have a lot of buried secrets. There was once a group that studied the mysteries of the cosmos. Is that right, Romeo?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
The Telma Hera, the same group that has something to do with the Red Star?
Yes.
Yes.
In its early years, there were Tzimisce members, but back then, none of the Tzimisce had the discipline vicissitude. It didn't exist yet.
Back in the day, there used to be Tzimisce members of the Telma Hera, but none of them had vicissitude. It wasn't a thing.
Maybe that infection hadn't spread yet, or...
Exactly. There came a night when the clan started to change, and it all started from a patient zero.
The clan started to change, and it all started from a patient zero. Sorry, go ahead.
They had journeyed to this place, not physical, but a realm of spirit. And there, deep, one of its denizens was able to warp reality as we know it. And it changed that Tzimisce. When that Tzimisce came back, a lot of people died, and this discipline that is more a disease started to spread like wildfire through the clan. Most don't even remember that the discipline vicissitude is alien to them. Sorry.
That's a long bit. Fill in the blanks if you can. There was a member of the Tzimisce clan who journeyed to a realm, shall we call it, of spirits, and made a connection with an entity that could warp reality and warped this Tzimisce.
Yeah, it was attacked.
The Tzimisce was attacked?
Yes.
The Tzimisce was attacked by the entity and was infected. And when he came back,
I don't know anymore.
When it came back, a lot of people died.
A fully transmissible disease from another spirit realm.
But less a disease that could affect reality but was not based in reality.
So now it exists within the flesh. The Shadow Crusade is dedicated to eradicating it, finding the source, and stopping it now. But as you can see, it's gone so far out of control. Our job was to monitor and work on a dealing with what is underneath New York.
The Shadow Crusade's mission was to eradicate this disease, and a great deal of their effort was supposed to be expunging it from under New York.
New York.
Wynn kind of gives Romeo a look like New York.
New York.
Why New York? What's under New York?
What the Xantosa hid.
It's not in the house?
He gets this grim look. What is under the house is a shard of that. A piece. A seed from a much greater tree.
What's under the house is a seed from a much greater tree.
And we had some way to deal with so much more than just that house?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
We have knowledge, but we don't have a great deal of ability to share what we know. And we don't completely understand what is underneath New York.
We lack the ability to easily share knowledge. I'm sorry, Romeo, repeat the last part.
We lack the ability to share knowledge. And how do I put this? What's under New York is bad on a level that's difficult to comprehend.
What's under New York is bad on a level that's difficult to comprehend.
It is ancient, vampiric, but not at all human.
It is ancient, vampiric, and not at all human.
I mean, if the Shadow Crusade is there to wipe out this disease and to remove something extraordinarily, unfathomably dangerous from beneath New York, isn't that worth trying? Or
how do you fight a storm?
How do you fight a storm?
We try. There are incidents. I think what happened to Joey might have been one. But
Wynn nods.
And on that front, we do our best. Guys like the Xantosa, we take them out when we can because they're loyal to it.
Men like the Xantosa we take out when we can because they are loyal to it. There are incidents.
But the Xantosa are accepted by the Sabbat, and
the Sabbat has no idea what's out there.
The Sabbat has no idea what's out there.
They're the only place I've seen. She holds up her hand. The Crescent.
That's more complicated.
That's more complicated.
But believe me, the Sabbat, no group of people is at a point right now where they can answer for what's under New York, and it's just growing. It's eating. It spreads. It's fungal spores and its mind warping presence.
Shit.
It's just a matter of time unless something is figured out.
What?
Sorry, Britta. The thing under New York continues to grow and warp and spread its fungal spores.
Same way like your house?
Like the things growing outside my house. And there's not really a great way to counter it. And the Sabbat are clueless about this, Romeo?
As far as the Sabbat know, they killed it centuries ago.
The Sabbat think it's dead centuries ago. There's no chance that an errant revenant of the Xantosa family would run to the Sabbat.
It might. The Xantosa have close ties to the Sabbat. The Sabbat don't know what the Xantosa do. As far as the Sabbat know, they are the sect, the group that successfully slew 2 of their own ancients. Vampires so old that they had thrived before even the Great Flood. The Sabbat thinks they killed 2 of them, and one of those vampires is under New York, smuggled here by the Xantosa.
The thing under New York is an ancient and truly ancient vampire that the Xantosa smuggled here. The Xantosa have ties with the Sabbat, but the Sabbat doesn't know what the Xantosa do.
With everything moving here, with the Xantosa smuggling it to New York, and with the Sabbat moving to try to take over the coasts and all, does that mean that what we were, the Tamahe-Ra, the Black Hand, are they moving too?
I don't know. I fell out of contact, and I've spent a while now living the unlife of a Toreador. And now, this.
He doesn't know. He fell out of contact, and he's been living as a Toreador.
I'm sorry, I know that it's a lot of questions for a lot of unanswerable problems, and it's a lot to just put on someone who's stuck here. Do you think that my sire is looking for me, or the group, or do you know how I died, or am I going to be able to continue being a Toreador here?
I think that's up to you. I haven't seen our sire in a while.
That's up to you. I haven't seen our sire in a while.
We were ghouls together. I remember the visions, the black and white, and all. I just wasn't sure.
We knew each other.
We knew each other.
I'm sorry, I don't remember.
His face kind of like twists with like pain and regret, and almost has this like very subtle shift in his appearance. And it's around then that Joey arrives and kind of like with his itty bitty little hand reaches up and touches Romeo's elbow to kind of console him just a bit. And seeing you, Joey waves his hand and smiles.
Hey, Bubba's.
I wish I could remember. You've helped me so... what?
Sorry, Joey just got here. I was saying hi to him.
Oh, hi, Joey. I'm sorry, what you showed me helped me find out a lot about who I was, Romeo, and I'm sorry, I can't remember.
Wynn kind of seems to waffle with the idea of mimicking Romeo's body language, but isn't quite sure how disrespectful that might be. So she just turns to Romeo. Do you want me to try and show her your body language?
No.
Okay. Your choice. I'm just the interpreter.
Britta gives Wynn a odd look. If there's an okay following that, she can follow the answer.
Tell her that the Xantos probably know about her, and they're probably watching her.
I need a lore wraith roll.
Okay.
Fucking shadows.
4 successes.
Okay. With 4 successes, what's your question?
Did his darker side just take over?
Probably.
Is that a thing that they can be talked into coming back from?
It's unclear. Sometimes it takes time. Sometimes there are certain abilities that wraiths can exert to do it. There's actually a ritual that necromancers can learn that can do it.
Romeo, this has been a really hard conversation and you're doing a great job. Just stay with us, okay?
I'm here.
I know.
Is there something I can do? I'm sorry if I'm asking too many questions. I don't mean to hurt him.
Tell her that she's hurt me quite enough, and that if she remembered, we probably wouldn't have needed to even be at the Elysium that night.
You've hurt him quite enough, and if you remembered, we probably wouldn't have to be at the Elysium that night. And she gives Britta a look like, I'm sorry, I didn't want to.
And I probably wouldn't even be fucking dead.
I get it.
Britta automatically blinks in the way of someone who, as a mortal, would have blinked back tears and looks down, keeping her hands wrapped close to herself.
You need to get it the fuck together, or I'm not having these conversations anymore.
I'm not the person that got anyone killed.
Neither is she.
And warn her Warn her that if any Archons see her hand, they'll cut her to fucking pieces.
Britta, if any Archons see your hand, they'll cut you to pieces.
Okay.
But the Sabbat are probably fine. They'll welcome her with open arms.
Alright, you're done. I'm not interpreting anymore. Get it the fuck together.
Tell her what I said. She'll need it. She'll need to know that the Sabbat's the only safe place for her.
It's not.
We made it to keep us safe.
What's not?
Britta is safe with us.
Tell it to Marcos. None of your friends are safe.
Is Marcos with you?
When, what's he
Marcos
saying?
went to hell. He went to hell, and there's no helping him. And eventually, I'll go to hell. And then Joey will go to hell. Won't you, Joey? And Joey, looks wide-eyed and terrified at you.
I'm gonna do a necromancy thing.
Okay.
I am also spending a willpower on this. Wynn kind of holds her hand out for Joey and pulls him close to her side.
He definitely obliges.
Yep. And she takes a real strong stance and narrows her eyes at this dark side of Romeo. She says, when you are like this, you will not come here. You will stay away from Joey, and you will stay away from Britta. And she's going to attempt to compel soul.
Okay.
5 successes.
Okay.
When it's okay, I don't... If he's
No,
just
it's not.
It's all her fault. And he is forced to obey and fades away.
Britta, that wasn't the Romeo you know at the end. I have a thick skin when dealing with them. I kind of ascribe to the Q-tip mentality, quit taking it personally, but the first few times when you hear that from someone you thought you knew and cared about, it's very hard.
Feels like maybe I didn't know him, but if I got him killed, if I got other people killed,
Listen to me. What was talking to you at the end was something called a shadow. And she kind of looks to Joey, too, and keeps him close. The shadow, it's the dark thoughts that we have about ourselves. It's all the self-doubt and the self-hatred, and it manifests in a way that tries to undo everything that the true self wants. He was trying to drive you away because who he is normally cares about you a lot.
But I did that to him. I made him have that shadow.
No, it's unfortunately it's not an exact parallel to the creature we have inside us, but it's near enough for approximation.
Will he be able to come back? Is it that command?
When he's not as his shadow self.
Britta just kind of...
And I only told him to stay away from you and Joey when he's like that. He can find me anytime. I didn't cut him out.
Britta sags a bit, just kind of pulling her knees closer to herself on top of the chair, the bench, rather, for the piano. And she wraps her arms around her knees and looks at Wynn and looks towards the corridor where he had been standing.
He's not there anymore.
He wanted to talk to me, and I'm sorry,
Britta, you did fine. You didn't do anything wrong. Don't make him let you feel that way.
Is Joey okay?
Joey's learning a lot today, and some lessons are hard. And she kind of instinctively pulls Joey closer.
I think Johnny has actually gone ahead and picked up a black Chevy Suburban for Miles, because he knows that we're going to need a vehicle to conduct some business in the following nights. He tries to make sure that it's acceptable for Miles to ride around in.
Tim is making a face.
Having disappointed him multiple times with Johnny's choice of vehicle.
Is it matte black?
You know,
just primer black.
The nuances of the kind of black probably have avoided Johnny, but I'm sure Miles will have a explanation of you chose that black. We'll see.
It's not matte black, it's that black.
Oh.
In addition to into the vehicle, he's also picked up a few other things that we commonly need during our more active situations that we get involved in. Some ammunition, weapons, and body armor that he requested. Takes a look at it all, kind of zips it up in the bags, and shuts the trunk, and then comes walking around to the driver's side, jumps in and takes a look at Neil, who's sitting in the passenger side.
When Neil first got in the car, he definitely started moving into the back before realizing it was just him and Johnny, so has buckled himself into the front seat. And otherwise, it's just kind of like staring off into the middle distance, like he's just thinking about too many things right now. He looks nervous and kind of upset. Is everything packed up? You sure you didn't want to help, like, put stuff in the back, or?
No, we're all good. So you said we're taking care of this business you had out in Wallingford?
So, like I sort of said when in the car to Boston, right? Like, I don't technically need a bowl, but the level of enlightenment will help me find this. So there's a ritual, right? And it'll help to... Cynthia, was that her name? The abbot? Abbess? I don't know what the...
Abbot.
Okay.
And yeah.
Yeah. So when approaching the Veil, it's a whole thing. We don't have to get into it. But that's where the bowls are. They don't have a whole lot of...
You notice that Johnny is half paying attention to you, but is really focused on a revolver that he's checking, and undoes the cylinder to kind of inspect the 6 silver bullets in that cylinder.
Is that gun from Arabella?
Yeah. He closes it, puts it back in the holster, and sits it down in the middle between the 2 seats.
Anything on your mind there, Johnny?
There's a lot of woods out towards Wallingford.
Oh, and but you can get us there safe, right? You did before. Me and Wynn and Britta.
He takes a moment. You can see he kind of licks his fangs. Yeah, I can get us there safe.
Johnny, be honest. Is this like a bad idea? Because I think this gives us our best shot of fighting this woman. But
nothing we choose to do in these nights is a good idea.
Well,
he pops a Morley out of his pack, pops it in his mouth.
If I'm going to be completely zoned out of it and projecting my consciousness into another plane of existence for, like 8 hours, you going to be okay?
He finally turns and gives you a hard look, nods his head. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to be all right.
I don't want the ritual to be interrupted, but if shit goes real bad, like, you just grab me out of the tub and run. Or just leave me if you have to.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Can I ask you a favor?
Of course.
I need to get a couple of things. I got a Tupperware and like a knife and a bowl and thing. I need from my haven, and it's been a while. I've been avoiding going back.
You gonna be all right if we stop there on the way?
I need to get these things. Face your demons, right? And I'm not gonna pretend I'm not nervous. I don't know how to explain how much. I know everybody looks at me like I'm crazy whenever I talk about how much everything means to me, but but you gotta face it sometime, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
If I freak out, I don't know.
You've been present for plenty of my freakouts. I think I owe you the courtesy of having your back during a couple of yours.
I'm gonna try and keep my shit together.
Yeah, if you can't, I understand.
Don't let me... And Neil has this like weird look on his face. He's got sort of a moment of self-awareness cracking through. I'm not going to want to leave once we get in there, even if I don't lose my shit. But we're kind of on a timetable.
Is there anything I can do to help you remain focused?
I won't take it personal if you got to get physical. Because we got stuff we have to do. And I could spend the next 6 weeks in there.
All right. You're always mumbling on about this ladder. There's a whole lot of trials with that, too, isn't there?
Yeah.
Just consider this another trial. This is getting you to a better place.
It's funny, last time it showed me Reese finding me. And then it showed me Nara finding me. And both of those things have happened. So, I'm not really looking forward to this go around. The pain and the fear is one thing, but the temptation, that's the other one. It'll be fine.
Here's our exit. Johnny, who's been kind of just driving around slowly through town during the conversation, pulls over and heads over off onto the road where Neil's Haven is.
You guys pull up to Neil's Haven, and even now there is police tape. Windows are smashed. Even at a quick glance, it looks very, very bad.
Neil can't quite bring himself to look, but Johnny knows Neil well enough to know how good his senses are. He's definitely very aware in his periphery of just that cursory level of damage, and they haven't even gone in yet. And he gets extremely still, like only a dead thing can. Has not yet freaked out, but is just sitting perfectly still, not quite able to get out of the car.
Neil, are you a pawn shop owner, or are you an Assamite sorcerer?
You can be both things.
How about right now?
I'm a Malkavian, Johnny.
The Duron Key Sorcerer. Which are you?
You can be both.
Right now.
I need... There are things under my bed that I need.
Then look me in the eye and tell me that you're going to go inside and get those things, and nothing's going to stop you.
I'm going to go get them. But he does not look Johnny in the eye when he says it.
Johnny reaches out and grabs him by the scruff of the shirt and pulls him close. In the eye.
I'm going to go get him. And he doesn't really have much choice but to look Johnny in the eye. Unless he wants to get, like, real childish about it, and he doesn't.
Johnny blows smoke out of his nostrils and nods.
Okay, let's, And Neil gets out of the car and starts just unstealthily walking up towards his haven.
You hear the sounds of glass kind of crunching under your shoes as you make your way in. Despite the police tape, it looks like people must have pilfered through this, kind of stealing all sorts of doodads and collector's items. And a lot of what was here has been cleaned out.
I need a frenzy check.
Okay, roll a div 8.
Is it self-control?
Self-control.
Okay.
Self-control.
Div 8. No successes. I actually have really good self-control, but nope.
Okay. Neil flies into a frenzy.
Neil steps inside, looks around, looks at, like, the destruction, looks at the missing things, and just completely loses control. His fangs bare, he hisses, and then just starts destroying things with the energy of, like, someone who's panicked and looking for something, but with the destructive energy of a frenzying vampire.
Johnny, hearing this commotion inside, will remain out on the street and keep an eye out for anybody walking towards this way and try to stay out of view sight from the inside. And he's going to let Neil kind of tire himself out a little bit indoors.
Under these circumstances, I actually don't know when I stop.
You're essentially going to frenzy until you burn out.
So just, like, burn through all my blood, or...
Yep.
Okay.
So you burn through blood, you smash things, you rip up the few things that remain intact with fangs bared and panicking. When it's done, you feel no satisfaction at all.
Wait, that runs him through his entire blood pool?
Yeah, he's going to burn blood to buff his and, like, try to smash stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I rolled 1-8, but there was also a 1 in there.
Cool.
Good thing you rolled an 8.
Mm-hmm. Hearing no sign of it stopping, after about a minute of letting him tire himself out, Johnny decides that he needs to intervene because he can't let him just ruin himself at the expense of his place. So he'll make sure that no one's coming and step inside the pawn shop.
Outside, the coast seems clear, so you're able to go in.
Neil
does not heed and is in the process of, with buffed strength, tearing pages out of probably collector's books.
Johnny will spend some of his blood to speed across the room with celerity and push him against a wall so they can be face to face again. That's enough.
Neil tries to break out of the grapple and just continue smashing and tearing things apart.
All right, go for it. Currently burned enough blood to set your strength to 6.
Also, I have a point of brawl now. Thanks, Johnny. I'm still Neil. 3 successes.
Okay.
8 successes to hold him in place.
Okay, I think it's suffice to say he's going to be holding you down pretty effectively.
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot I can do about that.
I need that Duron Key sorcerer here. Stop raging about a pawn shop and look at me.
We're going to spend a willpower to try and... I haven't really frenzied, so...
Roll self-control.
Not a thing that I usually do. 2 successes this time.
Okay, this round you can control yourself. Next round, spend a will roll.
Did 10 explode?
No.
Okay, then 1 more success.
3 total, 2 to go. Next willpower. In the meantime, Johnny's just got you in an arm bar?
No, he's just pinning his shoulders against the wall and talking.
No successes on that one.
Okay.
2 10s. That's the...
Okay. So for a moment, it looks like Neil may just lose himself in the moment, but he stops. You sense his nostrils flaring, and Neil manages to calm.
His fangs sort of retract back.
You got it out of your system.
They took them, Johnny. I know they destroyed it to hurt me. But then the people in the neighborhood, other people, took my things. I'm part of this neighborhood, Johnny, and they took them. I'm gonna find them. And I'm gonna get them back. But not tonight.
It's not the neighborhood.
Oh, some of it's the neighborhood. But they don't know I've got keys.
It's all vampires, Neil. These people are manipulated. They took your stuff, but it was vampires setting them against you. Great. Don't forget that.
I didn't say I was gonna hurt anybody. I said I was gonna get my things back. I've been in all their houses. I can do it again and find my things. But today, you're right. We have things we have to do. If everything is as trashed downstairs as it is up here, I might need your help opening the way into my real haven.
Johnny gives a slow nod as he lets go of you and lets you lead the way.
When his feet touch the floor again, Neil kind of sadly kicks like a pile of torn shit and broken glass, and then leads Johnny downstairs to the newspaper hellhole that he sleeps in, over towards the bed, which, they were taking some of my stuff out, so it may even just be open still, and goes down to look for, like, a curved knife and some Tupperware and a couple of sort of, like, ritual bowls that aren't inherently magic on their own, but are just sort of shit that he uses for this kind of thing.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for being here.
I wish you could be a better help. I'm not really the one that usually calms down the frenzy.
If you weren't here, I probably would have been doing this until sunup.
I got that feeling.
And this is kind of why I've been avoiding coming back. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it up. I'm gonna put everything in its place again. Everything has its place. But you're right, tonight we gotta go, I gotta get focused. Neil looks just absolutely drained and he hasn't even done any magic yet, but alright, we can do this. Let's go do this. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Neil.
Somebody's gonna hurt for this, but it's not tonight.
Johnny hauls open the door under his bed, and they head down into the inner sanctum.
The sublevels of Haven actually aren't completely empty. There is still some Tupperware containers. There are things that are hidden. The plants are dead.
That's gonna be a problem. Fuck. Can I pull some dried leaves to pull one last thing, or are they just...
You can probably pull some dried leaves.
So I have enough to, like, hop up a bowl, and then it's just what's in the coins and I'm fucking done.
Right.
Hey, Johnny, how many of those plants did you get into Nara's hands?
I don't think I was really keeping count. A few?
It took me 2 decades to cultivate this. They don't grow this shit outside of Alamut. Well, they wanted to handicap me, and here we are. Okay, I can make this work. The tub that I had been, like, working on for a long time, like my star charts and things like that, are those still around, or were they destroyed, or...
Star charts are gone.
They ruined my life's work. Not tonight. We have things to do tonight. Okay. Neil's expended, right? Like, he's emotionally spent for a minute as he sort of puzzles the ramifications of just the utter destruction that has laid upon his, hoarding but ordered life, at least in his brain. There's that feeling like he might lose his shit again, but he's too tired to do it. And so it slowly passes up like a Tupperware, like one of those Tupperware bins full of just random assorted knickknacks that he thinks he might need, like a brazier or just random crap, and passes it up to Johnny. Hey, help me out with this. Get this into the car, and then...
You got it. Johnny basically helps him move everything they can out of the remains of the sanctum.
It's not very many trips. With honestly not very much in the way of effort, you end up being able to pack up the vast majority of what remains of Neil's belongings. With that said, there are seeds you are theoretically able to restart, but it's going to take time.
Yeah. Neil just starts collecting the few things that were left untouched, mostly because they weren't really evidence so much as just things to use. The last thing that I look for, because I'm a man of my word, is if there are any remaining, like the area where Neil's comics collection was kept. Is that issue of Wolverine still there?
Roll me a die. On a 7 and up, it's still there.
Nope. Shit. Well, at least I don't have to do it myself. All right, Johnny, let's get the hell out of here. I can't be here anymore.
Johnny solemnly nods, heads up to the car.
No, I wish it wasn't the end of the world. It's going to take me way longer than that to fix everything. Johnny, that picture we have, we can use that, and then later tonight, speaking of keeping your shit together, after I do the thing, after the ritual, after I ascend the ladder, I'm going to need your help with the ritual. Are you going to be okay with that? It's going to be hard.
I've seen what you've gone through tonight. The least I can do is make sure that you have the backup you need.
I'm going to need you to cut me open. Are you okay with that?
You can see the hesitation in his face, but he nods. I'm rock steady. I got your back.
Okay. Let's find us some Sabbat.
Path of Night is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the classic world of darkness. Britta Ashcroft the Toreador was played by Rebecca Steigelfest. Johnny Saxon the Brujah was played by Garrett Gabbey. Miles Davenport the Ventrue was played by Tim Davis. Neil Foster the Malkavian was played by Rob Muirhead. Wynn Cabot the Gangrel was played by Erika Webb. Your storyteller was Lex Lopez. Recording by Rebecca Steigelfest. This episode was edited by Rob Muirhead. The music used in this episode was January Grunge Love Fest by Technoaxe. Visit them online at technoaxe.com. Path of Night uses the 20th anniversary edition rule set of Vampire the Masquerade with a few limited house rules. Vampire the Masquerade is owned by Paradox Interactive. Make sure to subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter at Path of Night Pod, on Facebook at facebook.com/Path of Night Podcast, or email us at pathofnightpodcast@gmail.com. See you next time, Kindred.
Just picturing her listening to the mixtape and it starts with Push It by Salt and Pepper.
I take back everything I said. Just kidding. I love Salt and Pepper.
Push it real good.
I mean, who doesn't? It's an anthem of our ages.
I find it very funny that Elsa would use Miles as like a modern music like hookup. She's like,
You can't tell any of the other Toreador about this. Now please, give to me that new metal.
But so
Miles, have you heard? There's this band. It's called Korn, but they spell it with a K.
So the specific thing about the insult with Elsa is the very fact that he became a music producer because he wasn't very good at music.
Yeah.
that's dope.
And that Marcos...
She was like, posers suck.
and Marcos quite literally was better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not today, though. Fucking 8 successes, baby.
Okay. I mean, that can be interpreted in multiple ways.
Not Marcos. He's dead.
Yeah, that's the
one.
Oh, you're right.
That actually makes him better. That's how music goes.
Oh,
Hey,
Jesus.
Wynn, I thought we were here to talk to Romeo. Why is what Marcos?
Oh, hey, bro. Come sit at the piano with us.
Have you met Johnny?
Guys, don't make this bad.
No, Joey's looking for a piano teacher. Now he's got 2.
How come all ghosts play piano?
Just the good ones.
Damn. Yeah, no, Marcos doesn't have a ghost.
No.
I don't know why that is, but I don't necessarily know if I want to know.
What are you talking about? Your boy told you.
Do people going to like...
No, Zofio specifically in the last episode was like, he's burning in hell. Like, it was...
Right, well, hell seems very a made-up place.
You are literally inhabited by a demon.
No, I'm inhabited by something that says it's a demon.
He's not wrong.
Miles, the wolves are at the door. Let's get focused here.